So let's talk for a minute about how you can read the cards without relying heavily on your book in order to get accurate answers. There's a couple reasons this might be happening, so we're going to talk about those and try to get you away from the book so that you feel more confident just reading freely with your cards. Now, one of the first things that I'll say is that people usually tend to kind of either overthink or put a lot of pressure on themselves. And this in itself is so detrimental because you're just trying too hard. And sometimes when that happens, you don't allow things to flow naturally. You don't trust your intuition and you're just overthinking, was it this card? Was it that card? Was it that meaning or this meaning? And it's just too much. So one of the things is you just have to kind of relax and calm down and just, give it a shot. Some of the stuff you might mess up, some of it you might get right, but you have to practice in order to do that. And it's all about checking your work and getting validation from other people, right? And always, if you are new and you are doing this, let people know that you are new, because when you are a tarot reader, people do tend to take what you take very seriously when you give them information. So you always want to be really honest and upfront with people about the level that you are at. So that's one of the things. Just don't overthink everything too much. The second thing that might be happening if you feel a need to really latch onto that book to get a correct meaning is that you need to study the cards a little bit more. And I know this is not a popular answer because it's hard. It's really hard work. There's a lot of cards in there. But the thing is if you study them enough, it becomes kind of automatic reflex and automatic memory. Think of all the stuff that you learned in school that to this day you still remember because it's just got drilled into you because of just the repetitiveness and all of those things. And it's the same thing with the tarot cards, right? It's just, even if you're not reading intuitively, if you memorize everything, you can read the cards. So, just try to start there. Put maybe a little more time and energy into just memorizing them instead of trying to read them and do readings right off the bat, right? And at the beginning, to stick to really simple readings like 1 cards or 3 cards. Don't overdo it. I think when we get tarot cards, we're super excited because they're so cool and they can do so many really interesting things for us that we really forget, you kind of have to start with the basics. We want to be, several months or several years down the line of where we actually are. So kind of try to work within the skill set that you have and don't try to rush anything. So that is another thing that I would say about kind of trying to get away from your book. Now, it's okay if you need to refer back to it from time to time. For me, I kind of had to wean myself off of it. All of the suits were pretty not easy to learn, but they were pretty manageable to learn, as was the major arcana cards. But when I got to the pentacles, I got really stuck, really stuck. And I had the worst time. For some reason, that particular suit just got blanked out every time I tried to remember something. So when I would read cards, my thing was I would read everything else intuitively, and then I would always check for just the pentacles in the book until I kind of practiced more and got more well-versed and really kind of learned the cards and they soaked in. And then I stopped using my book so much I didn't need it anymore. Once in a while I would do a reading and I would come across a card and I would either blank out or I just, sometimes when you look at a card also, the meaning doesn't fit or sometimes it just doesn't seem right and you just want to refer back to your book to verify the information that you're giving somebody before you just say something you don't know or make something up, right? You never want to do that. So, while you're learning too, if that's an issue, once in a while you need to check back, don't feel bad about it. I don't think I've ever been in a reading or given a reading to somebody, especially when I started where I was new and I said, hey, I know I'm getting this, and this for these, but this card's kind of being a little funky. Do you mind if I refer back to my book? I want to make sure I get you the correct answer and the correct message. No one has ever given me any flack for that. No one's been mad at me. Ultimately people do want the right message. So they're going to give you a little leeway, especially if they know that you're newer or that, you need to kind of just double check. So that's what I would say for that problem. Just don't be too hard on yourself with everything because learning the tarot is a lot and it's okay if you need to check your book. Don't feel bad about it. But if you feel like you're using it as a security blanket or a crutch, then you need to put it away and you need to just kind of try to do it on your own. And I would suggest putting a 1 card or 3 card reading and then writing down what all the cards are in a notebook and then writing down your interpretation for each card. Then go back to your book and check and see where it's accurate and where it's not. And then you have to figure out from that the ones that weren't so accurate, why is that happening? Were you not sure about the card? Or, do you just feel like you're not connecting with the energy of that card? There's things that you can do. So keep that in mind when you're reading cards, and keep going, because once you learn how to do it without the book, it's going to be so much more fun. But everybody goes through that learning process at the beginning. It just feels really hard when you see other people doing it and you didn't see where they were when they started, right? So until next time, thank you for watching. Keep using your cards and keep having fun.